So I wanted to make a second part to the Harley Road Glide versus the Indian Challenger video. I know that video got a lot of people mad because they can't accept that Harley Davidson has a competitor now that's actually outperforming them in the market with their baggers right from the factory. So this video is going to break down all of the stuff that you get when you buy a Indian Challenger versus when you buy a Harley Davidson Road Glide. It'll go over the base models of both, as well as the Road Glide Special and the Indian Challenger Dark Horse, which is pretty similar to the Limited, but we're just going to go to the Dark Horse because it's more comparable. Please watch the whole video all the way through before leaving dumb comments below about how I don't know this or that, and you clearly didn't even watch the video. Hope you enjoy. Really quick, here are two screenshots just to give you a snapshot of the differences between the base of both models, as well as the Dark Horse versus the Road Glide Special. Go ahead and pause the video if you want to see those. Otherwise, let's get to it. The first thing I think we're going to dive into here is going to be the first thing you see when you look at the bikes, and that's going to be the paint job. Now, we can see what these bikes look like. So here's an example of a base model Challenger and a basic color from the base Road Glide. You can see all these color options Harley has here compared to what Indian offers, which is only two colors on the base model: black metallic and titanium smoke. There were only 3 Dark Horse colors before. They removed white, so they still have black smoke and bronze smoke. But now they've brought in a new standard color, which is Indy Red and black metallic. So that's that two-tone they show in the picture. And then you have Stealth Gray Azure, Riot Orange Smoke, and Storm Blue. So 2 of these are glosses here. And then the Riot Orange is a satin. These are all special order only colors. They're called icons. But as you can see, Harley Davidson offers 10 colors to choose from, whereas the Indian, you only have 6. And these icon colors take some time to get. So on so this is interesting. So on the Harley Road Glide Special, you actually don't get the blacked out finish unless you pay for it. So that is different. Alright, so it's a little misleading because that's what they show in the picture. So you have to pay for the blacked out finish. You have to pay $930, so almost $1,000. So that puts the prices on par with each other. And then you still have to pay for the lane sensitive braking if you want that, if you want them to be more comparable. I mean, look at that. $1,500 for that. $1,505 for red. $1,505. So if you look at these ones, started at $28,500. It goes up $1,500 for the red also. As far as the claim I always hear about the fit and finish being better on Harleys, Harleys definitely have some really nice paint jobs, okay? There's nothing wrong with Indian's paint jobs. They're awesome. They look really good. I'm sure not every Harley paint job is perfect either. I'm sure there's imperfections. There isn't a manufacturer in the world that has perfect factory paint jobs. Nobody can make that claim. The next thing you might notice is going to be the wheels. So these Harley wheels are definitely a lot different looking than the Indian's wheels. These are like a thinner looking spoke, and this one looks similar, although I don't think there's spokes like these. On the Road Glide Special, but you can see they look kind of like spokes from far away. They have kind of that look to them. If you look at the base model Road Glide, it's gonna just have the two-tone. From what I could tell, they look silvery and black. Yeah. So that's actually kind of like the Indian Dark Horse ones, where it's like a contrast cut. So that's cool. Now the base Challenger's wheels are different than the Dark Horse. Now here's what we're talking about with the wheels here. These are just solid black wheels on the base model Challenger. Alright, now if we look at the Indian Challenger Dark Horse, like this one, which looks like mine, you can see you have a contrast cut wheel, which is black with silver cuts all over it, so like on the outsides of each of these spokes, or whatever you want to call them, and then you have the nice red line going around. That's pretty cool. So I think this wheel definitely looks a lot better than Harley's. Also with the wheels, while we're here, we can see that the Harley comes with 130/60 19s, and the Indian Challenger also comes with 130/60 19s on the front, and on the rear the Harley has a 180/55 18, and the Indian has a 180/60 16. The R here means radial, and the B means biased. Radial tires far outperform bias ply tires. These Metzler Cruise Techs are actually from Pirelli. That's who makes them. And they were specifically designed for this Indian Challenger, so the tires on the Challenger are far superior to the tires on the Road Glide. I believe Harley has Brembo brakes just like Indian uses on the Challenger, but we do see some differences here. Now I think this is a typo on the Harley website. It says 32 millimeters for the brakes. I believe they meant 320 like the Indian. The Harley brake says 4-piston fixed front and rear. Now there's 4 pistons in the front on the Indian, but there's only 2 pistons on the rear. And you can see the rear brake on the Indian is actually 298 versus the 320. But the Indian actually outbrakes the Harley for some reason. Something that I just couldn't believe. It says down here, no screen, not applicable, but there actually is a screen. So if we pull up the Road Glide, it does have a screen. I don't know if this is a touch screen, but that is terrible. That looks bad. That's a terrible looking screen. Even the base Challenger, there's no difference. It's a nice screen. You get a nice screen. It's a 7-inch ride command screen. The difference between the Indian base Challenger and the upgraded Dark Horse or Limited, whichever one, the difference there is you get navigation, weather, like live weather and traffic overlays. You know, you get that kind of stuff. There's also built-in tracking on your ride, so it can keep track of like where you've been, like rides. You can plan stuff on there. It has built-in security, so like if somebody stole your bike, you're going to be able to locate your bike through your phone on your app. You get 100-watt total out of the Indian speakers. There's 2 of them at 50 watts each, versus 50 watts total on the Harley Road Glide. You get more output from the Indian, and they probably both sound like crap. I didn't like the stock audio on the Indian. I have the upgraded ones and they sound awesome. I think the one major difference between the quality of cockpit setup of the Road Glide versus the base Challenger is that on no matter what Challenger model you get the power windshield. Harley Davidson doesn't offer any power windshields. Now you might say, oh, I don't like that. You know what? That is convenient to have. Alright, now I definitely think the look of that windshield looks amazing. Alright, this is a good looking bike. Okay, Harley Davidsons look good, but the functionality of the Indian windscreen is awesome. Okay, because I can have it down and it looks nice down. I don't think it looks as nice as this, but it looks good, and it's functional because I can raise it up. I can't raise the Harley Road Glide windshield. Let's talk about the performance a little bit of these bikes. Now we know the Indian Challenger surpasses the Harley. Alright, there's no denying the engine and transmission on the Indian Challenger are superior to the Harley's factory engines. It's not until you get that 131 put into the Harley that you're outputting as much power or speed as the Indian Challenger. They call this, it's all over their website, they call this a performance bagger. It pales in comparison to the stock Indian Challenger. Specifically, besides the engine, because we've looked at that stuff already, if we look at the front forks, all right, because suspension is very important. We know the braking works a little bit better on the Challenger, but let's look at the suspension because, so the Harley suspension is slightly wider in diameter. This is a 43 millimeter on the Indian versus a 49 on the Harley. But these are inverted forks. These are performance forks. All right, now these aren't adjustable performance forks like you have on like some good sport bikes, right? But they definitely are superior to the more traditional forks on the Harley. And I think this definitely contributes to some of its better handling characteristics. Now, something I don't like, Harley doesn't have specs at all on front suspension travel or rear suspension travel. It's not on their website. It's not listed anywhere. I Googled it. You can't find it. Maybe somebody's been able to test it, but I cannot find it anywhere. Now, the rear suspension, now on the Indian is from Fox. I don't know who makes Harleys, but I'm assuming it's in-house. So that's, something to think about. The Indians come with the same engine and transmission, so you always get maximum performance. The only difference between the base model Indian and the upgraded Dark Horse or Limited is you get the lean sensitive braking. And then you're paying for like the blacked out engine and like all the other features like navigation and whatever, right? The wheels. So that's what you're paying for. But you get the same performance. If you buy the base model, you got the same performance minus the lean sensitive braking. Now, on Harley's part, I will give them credit on this. You can add the lean sensitive braking to the base Road Glide. You cannot, as far as I know, do that on the Indian Challenger. You have to have the Dark Horse or the Limited to have that. I do not believe you can add it. Even though it's just a module from Bosch, as far as I understand, you can't integrate it, but I'm not 100% sure on that either. I have not heard of anybody doing it yet. Alright, now miles per gallon, I don't know. I know I get around 40 or so it's pretty close. I also drive my bike in sport mode all the time, which, by the way, Harley Davidsons don't have any kind of drive modes. Indians come with 3 modes. They have rain mode, standard for like normal street driving, and sport mode, which is what I keep it in because it's the most responsive and it's just balls to the wall all the time where it wants to go fast. So it's awesome. You can't do that on Harley. So that's another difference. That's something else you're paying for with the Indian. You get drive modes, different tunes. But that could be a bad thing because it's electronic. If it malfunctions, what do you do? At least on the Harley, to their benefit, it's going to be delivering consistent power that is going to be responsive the same way every time, unless something's broken, right? Alright, so to summarize everything we just went through, now if you watched the entire video and you didn't just skip through, you're not just some Harley fanboy going on a rampage, you're going to see that what I broke down in the video, the differences between buying an Indian Challenger versus buying a Harley Davidson Road Glide, you get a lot more bang for your buck when you buy the Indian. They look pretty similar. You can argue that Harley has better paint jobs and whatever all day long, but when it comes down to it, everybody's always modifying these bikes to go fast. They both look good, and you're not going to get a better value for your money than you will if you buy an Indian Challenger versus a Harley Davidson Road Glide. The Harley Davidson Road Glides simply don't come with the same features, the same amount of features as the Indians do from the factory. They certainly have more aftermarket customization, but to get down to how things should be, the factory should be producing bikes that you want without you having to completely modify them before you're happy with their performance. Thanks for watching.